Greetings everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and we've returned back to the visual novel of Fatal 12. Let's see what's happening in this time then, and also, poor Sonia is eliminated. The girl that we've been spending with a few days now, and many tears have sprung up within the eyes of both Rinka and Sonia. Okay, it's time to meet up with Odette at the hotel, and I still haven't gotten over my excitement about what happened last night in the dream world. Wow, did you see those two last night? It looks like Numeria 1s and 2 have some major issues to work out, huh? Really now? Man, there's just something thrilling about watching a falling out like that. Odette makes it obvious how little she cares about listening to me as I ramble on and on. Sorry. I think it's probably going to be very clear that Odette, Federico, Miharu and Rinka are going to be the last 4 participants here. Just primarily because of the game actually steering us to these 2 characters being protagonists in a way. Christ, mine not being this annoying first thing in the morning. All I care about is getting some grub, so let's hit up the buffet. Kind of bored of the selection, but it still tastes good enough to choke down. And here I thought that it'd be useful info for whenever we decide to target them. After saying that, I finally noticed that Odette's in a rotten mood. The excitement I got from their little quarrel made me forget about all what actually happened during last night's election. That Miharu kid ain't to be taken lightly, especially since he beat me to the punch. She might look annoyed, but here's the thing, her voice makes her sound a little thrilled by it. This little game is finally getting interesting. I don't think I'll ever understand this monster's logic. Not afraid of this outburst and what she did to that. Okay. I could say one thing for sure though. She ain't the only one who thinks things have finally gotten interesting. Quite indeed. Rinka. For the first time in a few days, I'm all alone when I wake up. My eyes feel dry. That leads me to believe I was crying in my sleep. I really am a weakling. I can't deny that I enjoyed the time I spent together with Sonia. Being with her helped take my mind off the pressure of divine selection. I do my best to hold back any more tears as I make my way back over to my desk. I pick up my card book too and peer at a card I obtained last night. It's the card that Miharu revealed to every participant in order to earn the right to eliminate Sonia. Habinata or Miharu. That is what's written on Miharu's name card. The surname didn't ring any bells, but considering her family situation, I can guess what happened. What's more, Miharu obtained my cause of death last night, information that even I don't know the full details of. Her actions last night left me visibly shaken, which could lead her to take on a cold attitude toward me. I can't help but remember what she said. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. I see what you're doing, Miharu. After making that comment, I get ready for school. Yeah. I leave the TV on as I do so, which is how I come to learn some interesting news. Apparently, a suspicious looking bag was left on one of the Yamamoto line trains near Sabaya station. The police initially suspected it to be an attempted terrorist attack, but after inspections, the bag turned out to be empty. Part of me wonders if one of the divine selection participants might have been involved, but based on the reports, I can't think of any links to them. Ouch. As I listened to the report, I suddenly got a pounding headache. I started to feel stressed out and exhausted, both physically and mentally. I must have imagined the grisly scene of an attack unconsciously while watching the news. Thanks to all that excitement, it seems like the trains are running late. I'll make sure to head out earlier than usual. Ouch. Oh, Rinka! I bump into Naomi on my way into school. I never see her in the morning because she always comes earlier than me, but I guess the train's delayed her enough today. She notices me first, so she spins her body around to face me. And you trip over. Except the spin is so sudden that it causes her to lose balance. Careful! I quickly grab her hand and support her so she doesn't fall. It's been a while since I last saw one of Naomi's tripping scenes. Then again, it's been a while since I last saw Naomi, period. Sorry about that. As clumsy as ever, aren't you? She struggles to hide her embarrassment as she props herself back upright. How are preparations for the culture festival coming along? So, I guess. We still haven't decided what to do for interior decorations and all that. Oh, but I did make sure to prioritize passing on what you taught me about brewing coffee. Everything's going well on that front. Glad to hear that you're doing well. Hard to believe the culture festival is next week, all things considered. I'm not even sure how things are going with my own class right now. I might end up helping them out with something for the day off, but for now, I've no idea whether or not things are progressing well. How are things going with... Just Naomi is about to say something. A voice calls out to me from behind her. Good morning, Rinka, and you too, Naomi. Miharu has just arrived, it seems. As always, her hair flutters elegantly in the wind. She speaks to me like normal, almost as if what happened in the dream world last night never took place. I do my best to follow along, considering Naomi's presence. Miharu, sorry, but I better make my way to class before the bell rings. We'll go with you. She skitters off toward the building before I can finish my sentence. Looks like she really is avoiding me. I struggle to find an appropriate response. However, she removes that burden from me by making the response herself. Well, I can't blame her after all. I'm the one responsible for her evasiveness. Huh? Did something happen between you two? Not to worry, it's nothing major. We should be on our way as well, though. We'll be late for class. Interrupted. Hold on, I still gotta talk to you about last night. And here I thought I'd be able to distract you from that topic. I plan on going to Lionhouse after I finish my shift tonight. So can it wait until then? You never intended to talk about it here, did you? Her smile upon hearing my question is enough for an answer for me. She's fully aware that I want to talk about last night's events. The flood of students pouring into school eventually forces us to ride the wave with them. Ride with the crowd like a river. Mao? Time for lunch, Rennie. Mao darts over to my desk as soon as the bell for the lunch break rings. I skipped breakfast today, so I'm starving. Well, no wonder. Don't you always skip breakfast? Anyway, let me get Miharu first. Okay. Don't bother, she's been called to the teacher's lounge to talk about her scholarship funding. How'd you miss her being asked to go there in the first place?
そういえば先生に呼ばれてたような。
Ah, now that you mention it, that did happen.
リータンは相変わらず変なところで抜けてるな。
You zone out at the weirdest times, you know that?
なので今日は2人だよ。
Well, whatever. Just you and me today, sister. She grabs my hand and drags me along to the cafeteria.
リータン、今日はパンじゃないんだね。
Oh? Not sticking with your staple bread today?
ああ、なんとなく。
Hmm.
マオもだね。
I guess they're both trying something new then. Nope, I feel like trying something new today. You're not having your usual either?
うちはリータンがご飯系にしたから合わせたのだよ。
Wah? Well, I grabbed this since it'll go well with that delicious looking rice you've got there. Mao had opted for courage this time around, while I've gone with curry. We don't normally go for this kind of stuff since we need to carry it all the way to the rooftop. I wanted something with a strong flavour today, so I picked this without too much
リ
thought.
ータンは辛いの苦手だと思ってたけど、カレーなんだね。
Kinda surprised that you went with curry. I figured you weren't a fan of spicy stuff.
いや、辛いのも甘いのも好きだよ。極端に辛かったり、やたら甘かったりするのが好きじゃないだけ。
Nah, I'm fine with both spicy and sweet stuff, so long as they don't go overboard with it. At least.
知ってたよ。
Yeah, that's what I thought. Mara nods her head multiple times in an attempt to seem all-knowing. I dismiss it with a smile. As I smile, I remove the packaging on my curry. If I don't do it now, odds are I might actually forget to eat while talking to Mao.
いやはははは、疲れてるんだね、リータンも。
Aww. It looks like I'm not the only one who ain't all here today.
どうしたの？
What makes you say that?
いや、だってスプーン忘れてるからさ。
Well, your lack of a spoon for one thing.
あ、
Oh, you can pick up chopsticks and spoons at your leisure in the cafeteria, but it completely slips my mind that I needed one. All I have is a small hand towel.
では、そのおしぼりとこれを交換してあげよう。
Allow me to offer you a trade then. She produces a plastic spoon from within the plastic bag she has with her. She hands it over to me in exchange for my towel.
さて、魔王様と呼びなさい。
Also, thou shalt address me as Queen Mao.
どうもありがとう、魔王様。
Queen Mao, I am grateful that you have bestowed this spoon upon me.
こうも平然と言われると、
No.
面白みがないというか。
I'd have preferred if you were just a teensy bit hesitant. Looks like she was banking on me not being too pleased about having to bow down to her like that. I figured that was going to be her ultimate demand, hence why I said it right up front.
本場のインドカレーみたいに手で食べることになっちゃうとこだったね。
Damn though, you would have had to eat that with your bare hands like they do with Indian curry if it weren't for me. Just hearing the word Indian causes Alan to pop up in my name for a brief moment. Fortunately, her joke is a bit on the extremist side, so my involuntary reaction works for her too. I end up spending all of the lunch break chatting away with Mao. Just as we were able to finish eating, she brings up a topic I didn't expect.
そういやさ、リータンは気づいてないかもしれないけど、ここ最近、ナオリンはずっとリータンのこと気にしてるよ。
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Naoline's got her mind on you a lot these days. Don't think you've noticed it though? I asked her what she means, but she waves off my question and continues.
あれは完全に恋する乙女の瞳ですな。
So we've got two romances for Rinka. Gotta say, only a girl in love can make a face she did.
バカ。そういう言い方はナオミに失礼でしょ。
Oh, shut it. Now you're just being rude to her.
いやーまあいいんだけどさ、最近ナオリンほったらかしにされて寂しそうだよ。
Fine, you can believe whatever you want, but she's been looking awfully lonely ever since you started to neglect her.
ほったらかしって。ナオミも文化祭の準備で忙しいって言ってたからさ。
Hey, that's not fair. She told me she's busy with preparations for a culture festival, so I'm giving her space.
ミハルに比べれば、ナオリンは我慢しちゃう子だからね。
Thing is, Naoline ain't like Maharun. Maharun? She's the kind of girl that'll keep her desires locked up
と
inside.
もかくさ、リータン自身が最近ずっと疲れちゃってるからさ、
That'd be
ちょっ
very...
とは休んだ方がいいよ。
That's easy for you to say. You're not stuck in a scenario. And in some ways, Naomi has been stuck in this scenario for a little bit as well. Anyway, you've been looking pretty rough for a while now, Rennie. How about getting some proper rest? The group just isn't the same when you're not your usual perky self. What? Oh no. Like today, for instance, not only did you forget to grab a spoon for your curry, but you haven't even noticed that you've got it smeared all over your face. She opens the packet containing the towel I traded for a spoon and hands it over to me. I bequeath to you this towel, and in recompense, you will refer to me once again as Queen Mao. My everlasting gratitude, Queen Mao. Ugh, not again. And yep, guess I do have curry plastered over the left side of my mouth. Mao's probably right. Everything that's happened recently has left me mentally exhausted. Even so, I doubt I'll be able to get any proper rest in the near future, after all. Really now, Mao? Granted, I'm aware that you won't take any advice given by this fine piece of royalty to heart. This girl. Mao jams her trash into the plastic bag before standing up. At the very least, you should do what feels right to you. Thanks. I am genuinely grateful to hear that from her. There's no way she could know about the divine selection. Not even Miharu would divulge that sort of thing to her. And that's okay. That's how it should be. That's exactly why her words are such a relief to hear. Alright. Do me a favor and chuck this. I'm gonna go bother Miharu. She hands me the plastic bag and takes her leave. Once she's gone, I finish up my own lunch before following her lead. Okie dokie. Yeah, she really is off mine at the moment. After classes end for the day, I head out of school with the intention of going home. However, once I reach the gates, I notice Naomi leaning against the wall with her eyes cast down. She doesn't seem to have noticed me, so I call her out. Oh, Rinka, I was waiting for you actually. You were? What happened with preparations for the culture festival? I told you about how we hadn't decided on interior decorations this morning, right? Well, there are other issues. Our budget won't allow for us to buy lots of coffee mugs and plating, so we decided to use plastic cups. That's why we thought it would be best to at least make sure the coasters and such are nice and cute. So, would you mind going with me to shop for them? Only if you have the time, of course. Budget probably isn't their only issue. I doubt they have enough people to wash mugs one by one. It's probably best that they stick to disposable plastic ones anyway. What with all the hygienic issues to consider at such events. I happen to know a place that has exactly what she needs, so I don't see any harm in taking her there. I won't see Miharu until later tonight anyway, so it'll be fine as long as I keep track of the time. Sure, I don't mind. You should have messaged me instead of waiting like this though. I didn't want you to feel like you had to cancel any other plans, so if you're busy then please do prioritize that. She trails off, drawing her eyes away from me. It's my fault that she's acting this way around me, so I can't exactly brush her off. Come on, you don't need to worry about that. I know a good place in Shibuya, so let's head there.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Alright, thank you very much. With that, we make our way to the station. After we finish our shopping trip in Shibuya, we hop onto the train to head home. At Shinjuku, we had a little downtime while we wait for our transfer to arrive.
ありがとうございます。さすが先輩ですね。可愛いのがたくさん買えました。
Again, thank you so much, Rinka. I didn't expect to leave there with so much.
ならよかった。
Hey, glad I could help. Naomi struggled to make a decision in the store, so she ended up picking 3 different items of each category. Her plan is to show them to the rest of the class and then decide on which one to use.
でもナオミは偉いね。リーダーって感じ。
I gotta hand it to you. You're killing it as the class representative. Color me impressed.
いえ、ただ私以外に仕切る人がいないから。
Not at all.
私がリーダーみたいになっているだけです。
I'm only doing it because no one else volunteered.
そういうところが偉いねってことだよ。
Which is why I'm so impressed with how seriously you're taking it. She must have felt her face burn a bright red as she diverts her gaze from me immediately. From what I've heard, it sounds like she's getting along with her classmates as well. I wouldn't be surprised if her taking charge of the culture festival played a part in that. Considering how scared of me she was when we first met, she's definitely come a long way. I guess that makes her the exact opposite of me. Just as when we're about to get on the train, she stabs me with a sharp glare, and then she leans in and whispers,
先輩、あの人。
"Look, over there." She motions towards someone in the distance with enough subtlety to prevent bringing us any undue attention.
銀の髪の。
That silver-haired person seems suspicious.
銀。
Silver hair? Let's see. Oh, her? My shoulders stiffen the moment I spot her. Her train hasn't arrived yet, so...
ナオミ、先帰ってて。
Naomi, you head back first.
待ってください。先輩がそんなに焦るってこと。あの子、選定の参加者なんですよね。確か子供が2人混ざっていたって言ってました。
Just a moment. Judging by your reaction, I assume that's another participant. I do recall you mentioning there being 2 children. Yeah. Numerials 4 and 10 to be precise. Sonia's been eliminated, which leaves only numerial 4. I happen to have her cause of death card, but other than that, I don't know a single thing about her. I chalk up her appearance here as a coincidence, though that'd probably be a mistake. Not only have Sonia and Alan turned up in Shinjuku, but now she has too? There's gotta be a reason. With foggy spots in my mind, memories regarding my cause of death, and what Parser explained at our initial meeting are likely linked to the same reason. I shouldn't waste my time trying to figure that out much right now.
はい、
Huh?
聞いてますか？
Are you listening?
ごめん。ちょっとあの子のことを考えてた。ってあれ？そういえばどうしてナオミがあの女の子を知ってるの？
I imagine it's from Naomi's dreams. Sorry, got lost in thought. How'd you know her anyway?
どこかで見たことがあるような気がして。
Oh, this seems like
そんなはずはないですよね。
This seems like a familiar scenario, but he seems familiar for some reason.
先輩から聞いていた情報からなんとなく想像していたんですかね。ってあれ？あの子男の子じゃないですか？
Plus, I had a rough image of what he looked like based off your description. Wait, huh? Isn't that a boy?
男の子かな。華奢だし、顔も女の子っぽいけど。
You think? Looks awfully feminine to me. Haven't we had this conversation before?
私が言いたかったのはそうじゃなくて。
Either way, their gender isn't the point here.
向こうはまだこちらに気づいていないみたいです。だったら後をつけた方が。
They haven't noticed us yet. So, we should tell them now while we have that advantage. The tone of her voice matches the serious expression on her face.
少しでも情報を持っておいた方がいいかと。ごめんなさい。
For more information you can get your hands on, but oh, sorry. I shouldn't butt in like this anymore.
ありがとう。私もそのつもりだったから。
Don't worry about it. I was just thinking the same thing, to be honest.
でも一人で行く。だからさっき先帰っててって言ったんだ。
I asked that you head home first
言葉足らずで。
because I was gonna do it on my own. Sorry for being unclear. Her gaze falls to the floor and, after a moment of consideration, she nods.
はい危険があるのは分かっていますから。でももし写真を撮ったりしてそれをもとに家での調べ物とかがあれば私いつでも先輩の協力をします。
I'm
さ
well,
せてください。
I'm well aware of the dangers involved, so I'll do as I'm told, but remember that I'm always willing to help. If you manage to snap a picture of them, I can use that to do my own research from home.
気持ちだけでもすごく嬉しいよ。ありがとう。
Just hearing that is enough relief. Thanks. Relief enough. Be careful, okay? I respond with a firm nod before we part ways. Sorry, Naomi. I apologize to her underneath my breath after we split up. Next, I'll pick up my pace to keep the girl in sight. After 30 minutes of detaining her, we finally reach what seems to be her destination. Upon leaving Shinjuku Station, she takes the Chao line all the way to a residential district. Judging by her familiarity with the area, she must live around here. She certainly doesn't look Japanese, but there aren't any hotels around here. That means she probably isn't here on holiday with her family, unlike Sonia. This leaves only one alternative. It's hardly surprising though. Lots of foreigners live in this area. Okay, here we go. She stops in front of and then makes her way into one of the houses. Seems like a pretty old place. Older than the houses around it anyway. Another thing that makes it stick out is how run down it is. A decent earthquake could probably shake it down with ease. I'm hardly a pro when it comes to detaining people, but I think it's safe to say that I wasn't noticed. There's no need for me to escalate things here. So I check out the nameplate at the entrance after making sure she's gone inside. It's a bit faded, but not enough to make it illegible. Ashikusha. Safe to say that's the surname of this house's owner. The same applies to her though. My instinct says no. In fact, it's entirely possible that she's squatting at an empty home for some temporary lodging, ducking behind the wall of the house next door. I try to eavesdrop on any conversations going on. Lucky for me, I'm able to hear something. Nothing specific, but the walls are thin enough to leak out the voices from inside. Sounds like there are at least two people inside. One is likely the girl, but the other sounds like an old man. The old man from the Court of Fate, probably. There's got to be him, actually. I guess that the latter owns this place, which means the girl is probably staying with his permission. I wonder, does my card book work with conversations involved with someone who isn't a participant? Considering I was able to hold a conversation with the one tourist before I even knew anything about divine selection, it's probably safe to assume it does.
そろそろ戻ろう。
I should head back. It's my best option for now, especially when you can't make out exactly what they're saying. Just as I'm about to walk away, a passerby starts talking to me. She's in her early 40s and is carrying a bag from the supermarket. I assume she was out buying things for dinner.
あら、牛塚さんに用事かしら。
Oh, are you an acquaintance of Mr. Ishizuka?
いえ。
Not quite, no. I'm taken aback at first, but she might know something about that girl if she lives in the area.
この家って昔から外国人の子供が住んでいた
When
ん
did
で
that
すか？
foreign child start living here?
あら、あなたも気になる？
Ah, I see that's caught your attention as well. Her face twists into a sly grin in addition to her response. I know her type. That's the exact same expression made by the kids at school when they gossip about others.
牛塚さん、家族と縁を切ったのか。ある時期からずっと一人暮らしだったのよ。
No one's certain why, but at some point he just cut off ties with the outside world.
あんまり家から出ないもんだから、近所では餓死したんじゃないかって噂も頻繁に立ってたの。数日経ってフラフラしているところを見かけて、ああ、大丈夫だった。なんてこと、よくあったのよ。
He rarely leaves the house, so for a time rumors kept spreading about how he starved himself to death. But then we'd notice him lurking around and carried on with our lives.
高齢者の孤独死って最近増えてるらしいし、大変よね。
Doesn't that help that cases of old folks dying all alone are on the rise too?
でも一月前くらいかしら、急にあの女の子の姿を見るようになって、近所で何か複雑な事情があったんじゃないかって噂になってるのよ。
People first noticed that girl around a month or so back. Rumor has it that there are some dubious circumstances between them.
昔は夜の店での遊びが激しくって隠し子がいたとか。あら、こんな話はあなたに聞かせる話じゃないわね。
In fact, some say that he used to frequent certain illicit establishments, and that's his child. Oh goodness me, I shouldn't be telling a young lady such things. That's funny. The look on her face practically screams that she wants to keep going.
じゃあ、あの子のことは皆さん知らないんです
So
ね。
no one knows who she really is.
ええ、牛塚さんが海外で悪いことをしてたんじゃないかって勘ぐる人もいて、みんな関わりたがらないのよ。
That's right, all sorts of bad rumors surround that man, including his nefarious deeds abroad, so no one wants to get too involved.
通報して恨まれたりしたら嫌だもんね。
Of course, nobody wants to risk earning his wrath by reporting him to the police either.
それにあの子、病気を持ってるんじゃないかって噂もあるくらいだから、みんな近寄りたがらないのよ。
I've even heard rumors about how the girl has some sort of illness, which is even more reason for folks to keep their noses clean.
あなたも気をつけなさいね。最近あの人が気になってる人が多いみたいだけど。
You're probably best off not getting involved either.
すみません。ありがとうございました。
Thank you for the concern. Just listen to her gab on and on has... Okay. I won't judge anyone for hazarding a guess about something, but using it as an excuse to spread unsavory rumors about him feels wrong. Plenty of older people live by themselves, so why would they make comments at his expense about it? Having given her my thanks, I use it as an excuse of my own to cut the conversation off there. Miharu seems to have been on the mark at least. I might be able to find something out about the girl if I talk to him. I should head home for now though. I've still got the store to attend to. And the train. I make sure to message Naomi on the train home. I assume she's worried about me, all things considered. No point giving an in-depth report, so I just text a quick summary. It doesn't take long for her to reply, telling me to get in touch if I need help. She said something similar when we split up too.
でもあの子と住んでいるのっておじいさんですよね。妙に気になるような。
Something's definitely suspicious about the situation between those two. I'm curious about her thoughts on the matter, but that would just invite the same gossip as that lady. I need to handle this on my own. It's down to me to gather as much info as I can. Instead, I simply reply with an "It's all good," to which she responds with an emoji. I need to handle this on my own. It's down to me to gather as much info as I can. Again. Another store to run. I prep to open the store as soon as I get back. A few people swing by, but no one stays for long because it's a weeknight. Once 9 PM rolls around, I close up shop. Miharu stops by around then, just like she said she would.
Yeah.
Hey there.
お疲れ様。コーヒー入れてあげるね。
Hey yourself. Let me get you some
あ
coffee.
りがとう。いいのかい？
Thanks. Should you really be giving out freebies though? I nod and follow up by telling her that we might be here for a while. After making enough of the both of us, I move over to our usual table.
話といってもほとんど確認だろ？
Is it safe to assume you're looking to confirm certain things with me? Yeah. She wastes no time in getting to the meat of things. She takes a sip of her coffee before going on.
今日も美味しいよ。
As delicious as ever.
ありがとう。ってそうじゃなくて、先週のあの夜、ソーニャと話していたのは。
Thanks.
私の死因のカードについてもだったんだね。
But let's not get off topic. That night when I caught you and Sonia discussing something, it was about my cause of death, wasn't it?
そうさ。君はソフィアが君のカードを持っていることを想定していなかっただろう。
Yep. I bet you hadn't anticipated her being in possession of one of your cards.
しかし、ソフィアは悪意があってそれを言わなかったわけではないらしい。君に必要以上に疑われることはしたくなかったそうだ。
She didn't keep it as a secret with any bad. Yeah, she didn't keep it as a secret with any bad intentions, though. Apparently, she didn't want you to suspect her even more.
わかるよ。私は初め、ソーニャのことをすごく疑ってたから。
I can't blame her, considering how I acted when we first met.
仕方のないことだよ。もっとも、だからこそ僕はソフィアに確認をした。正確には僕たちのカードを持っているかということを。
Anyone in your position would have done the same thing. That's why I made it a point to confirm with her whether or not she had any of your cards.
そして実際、ミハルの氏名のカードも持っていた。
As it turned out, she also had your name card.
ああ。だがソフィアは信頼されないことを恐れずに最初に言っておけばよかったと後悔はしていたようだよ。
Right. She mentioned that she regretted her choice, that it would have been better to have thrown at her fear of not being trusted away and told us the whole truth.
あの子らしいね。
That sounds just like her.
そうだね。その点については僕も同意だ。
No argument there. It's
彼女は
almost
純粋だった。
It's almost upsetting just how innocent that girl was. Memories of us sitting together at this very table come flooding back. It was like we were nothing more than three friends hanging out.
僕としては11番の女性のように積極的に相手を脱落させている相手に僕のカードを取られるのは避けたかった。
Though she did get your name. You know that numerical 11 is looking to eliminate as many people as she possibly can, so I wanted to make sure she couldn't get her hands on my card.
そしてそれ以上に君のカードを選ばれるのが怖かった。
More importantly though, the prospect of her snatching up your card terrified me.
だからソーニャを指名したんだね。
And that's why you opted to eliminate Sonia instead? I hesitate to press the issue any further, mainly because it involves questioning how she could be so calm and collected in the face of all this. It's entirely possible that I'll hear something I don't want to if I ask, and yet I end up asking her anyway.
ミハルはどうしてそんなに冷静でいられるの？
How can you stay this calm after her elimination? Does it mean nothing to you?
悲しむことが本当に必要なことかい？
Is there any need to waste my time feeling upset? I can't bring myself to snap anything back to her. That's the exact response I was afraid I'd hear. It's not like I don't understand her point. I know that there's no point being upset.
ミハルはそれでいいの？
You honestly had no issues taking that stance?
構わないよ。君が選定の参加者だと知った時から僕の気持ちは変わっていない。
I don't. My course was set the moment I learned that you're a participant.
君のために僕の命を捧げさせてくれ。
This is quite yandere now. My life solely exists for yours now.
もういい。もうそれは分かったよ。
I wish you'd stop saying that. I've heard it more than I ever wanted. I can't help but being blunt. While I expected such a reply, it's still not what I wanted to hear. I don't have it in me to say anything more though.
気持ちの整理がつかないのも無理はない。昨日の今日だからね。そうやって悩めるのがきっとリンカの強さだからね。
It's barely been a day since it happened, so I can understand why you're distraught. In fact, your ability to worry like this is one of your stronger points. The tone of her voice doesn't flutter.
今日はもう終わりにしよう。 しかし存外話が早く終わってしまったけれど、僕はまだコーヒーを飲み終えていない。もう少しここにいていいかい？
We should probably wrap it up for tonight. Although, would you mind if I stayed a bit longer? I haven't gotten to finish my coffee yet. My only response is a quick nod. Just as she said, I'm still distraught over what happened. What's worse, I seem to get more aggravated at night. I end up waiting for Miharu to finish her coffee. I can't bring myself to look her in the eye during that time, not even once.
では、僕はそろそろ行くよ。
Well then, I should be going now.
ごめん。
Mind waiting for a minute? I'll stop her just as she gets ready to walk out. There's still one important question left for me to ask.
ミハルの名前は、いろいろあるのは分かってるけど、前の名字はヘビナタなんだよね。
Your previous surname was Hebinata, right? I know there have been issues about at home and stuff, but
私はミハルの名前を知っているのに、三島ミハルでカードは作られなくて、ヘビナタミハルがミハルの氏名のカードだったよね。
I was always curious why I didn't have your name card, and then it triggered when Hebinata Miharu rather than Mishima Miharu, so
戸籍上の名前は僕は三島美春だよ。
But your birth name is the other one. I'm Mishima Miharu on my family's registers, just so that you know.
つまり、私の疑問っていうのは、カードが作られる基準がよくわからなくって。
Yes, so it creates a whole lot of doubts for me when it comes to the criteria of creating new cards.
君の疑問はもっともだ。そしてきっとそれは選定において女神の説明不足な部分であり、ルールの穴と言うべきかもしれない。
Yes, and those doubts aren't unfounded. Our lovely little goddess seems to have slipped on her explanation related to the process. You can call it a loophole of sorts. I managed to catch a brief glimpse of sadness in her expression. There's no doubt that she's not very comfortable discussing this topic, and yet she's doing her best to act unfazed for my sake. I make no effort to stop her, though. She knows that I've noticed, which is why she's bothering to explain it in the first place.
謝ろう。君には嘘を教えていた。
First things first, I need to apologize for not telling you the truth. Her expression grows more pained as she says that. I feel kind of bad about it, so I can only imagine how she feels.
このことを説明するには、僕のことをもういくらか詳しく話さなければならない。
The only way I can explain is by divulging even more about myself.
僕の名字は両親が離婚して変わったわけじゃないんだ。別の理由で、僕はヘビナタから三島になった。
They weren't divorced. Something bad happened to them. At the same time, I said that my surname became Mishima after my parents got divorced. But well, that's not quite right.
だが、僕の母親は君の知っている通り、あまり褒められた人間ではなくてね。
Okay.
この際はっきりと言おう。僕は母親が嫌いだ。
In fact, it made me so let me make it clear that I loathe her. She hasn't talked to me about her mum before, albeit briefly. About her habit of wasting money and her failure to do any chores, for instance. That's why Miharu has several part-time jobs and has to deal with the household chores as well. Unlike most students at Amecha, she's far from financially sound. The only reason she can attend is due to her scholarship.
僕はできることなら父親の姓を名乗っていたかった。
Ooh.
今でもそうできなくなってしまった運命を呪っている。
If I had things my way, I'd take my father's surname, but alas, I'm stuck with this one. I sense that there's a lot more to this than what she's telling me. It's likely that everything she's suffered through links back to whatever that could be.
この選定におけるカードのルールは、僕は全てが論理的なものではないと思う。いわゆる認知というものに頼りすぎている。
You'd think that the rules pertaining to our individual cards would be grounded with logic, but that isn't the case. In fact, they seem to rely far too much on one's personal perception. You can't make blind guesses when it comes to someone's cause of death and regret cards. Knowledge of the events surrounding them is a requirement. Each participant's perception of those events takes priority. In other words, there's no universal criteria in place of participants when it comes to creating new cards. That's Miharu's point.
今回の場合もそうだ。僕は自分の名前が三島美春だということを受け入れていない。
In my case, I've yet to accept that my name is really Mishima Miharu.
だから美春のカードは海老名美春なんだね。
That's why your card name or name card is Hibinata Miharu instead.
きっと僕の心の奥深く、夢に現れる深層心理でも同じことを思っているのだろうね。
Considering our cards are linked to the dream world, a deep part of the psyche, I really must be against taking on the Mishima name.
私は論理的かもって思うよ。
Then it might be a lot more logical than you think.
そもそも名前って絶対的なものじゃない。生まれたばかりの赤ちゃんには名前がないもんね。
Yes, because you can.
名前は誰かがつけるものだから。
Yes, because you can change your own name. Think about it. No one's born with a name. It's on someone else to give them one. The names aren't set in stone either. If it weren't for Keiko, I probably would have agreed with Miharu, but now, this is how I truly feel. Surnames change all the time due to marriage. Not only that, but you can even get it changed legally if so inclined. It's not always cut and dry like that, sure, but names are still something that reflect a person's individuality over all else.
なるほど。認識自体が認知の上に成り立っているということか。
I certainly hadn't
その考え
thought
に
about
は
it that
及ばな
way.
かった。僕は自分の名前に縛られていたからね。視野が狭くなっていたよ。
Perhaps my concern about my name was obstructing my outlook on the bigger picture.
大げさだよ。でも疑問は解消したって感じかな。
That's a bit of an exaggeration. Still, I feel like my doubts have been cleared up.
君を混乱させてしまっていたね。
Sorry for the confusion.
みんなそれぞれいろいろあるでしょ。けど私にとって美春は美春だから。
Nah,
それは
don't worry
何
about
に
it.
も変わることはないよ。
We've all got our baggage. You'll always be the same Miharu to me, regardless of what happens.
くす。
She giggles with a smile in response to my proclamation. And it's not a forced smile either. It is sincere, one of relief.
話は変わるけれど、運命の大広間であんなことを言ったから、君に避けられないか心配していたよ。
While slightly off topic, I was worried that you would start to avoid me after what I said in the Court of Fate.
本当に私は分かってたよ。
Really? I knew exactly what you were doing.
これで参加者のうちの何人かには僕たちが仲間割れしたと思い込ませることができたはずだ。
Assuming things went as planned, then some of the other participants may be giddy over how we got into a big fight. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. The other participants must have figured out about our friendship because of how we'd been talking to each other since the very first election. In fact, Sona assumed that we were friends from the start too.
タイミングはバッチリだったね。
But timing couldn't have been more perfect.
では、そろそろ行くよ。
Why is this an option? Let's see. I'll see you tomorrow. Which one? Okay, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.
また明日。
I'll see you tomorrow. She smiles and makes an ever so elegant exit from the store. Funny, I made coffee thinking we'd be talking for a while, but the real conversation only began after we'd finished drinking it. I take a moment and stare at Miharu's empty cup before getting back to my usual routine. Tuesday. Huh? Morning already? I slept so soundly last night, but I didn't even dream. Dreams. Hard to believe such a concept has taken on a whole new meaning for me. I'd never considered the possibility of a whole other world existing within our dreams. Not to mention a goddess like Parsa coming along and connecting me with others through said world. I mean, who could imagine meeting complete strangers within your own dream? It'd be a romanticized situation if this were a shoujo manga, I'm sure. I cast my mind back to the other participants' appearance. That's when I remember something crucial. One's an old man. Naomi's message from yesterday springs to mind. She said there was definitely something suspicious about that girl and where she's staying. It's not just any old man either. He's Japanese. That man is numero 5. I might be onto something. Actually, I should have caught on right away. There's still plenty of time before I need to be at school. I want to try something. My decision made, I make my way to the old man's house. Fortunately, I make it all the way without getting lost. It's a pretty tricky route after all, but jotting down the address yesterday turned out to be worth it. But I probably would have been fine without it, considering I've somehow managed to memorize the route. This is it. I'll make sure to keep some distance away to avoid looking suspicious. It may be early in the morning, but people are still passing through. Once the area empties out, I'll check inside his mailbox. I feel pretty bad about doing this, but it's necessary. Letters are such a nasty way of being able to think of someone's name in their situation. Because if you know where they live, then you could just simply get their mail and oh gosh. There are a slew of letters in here, definitely more than a day's worth. Most of them are from debt collectors, not just from one collection agency either. There are multiple different senders. I ignore all that, grab a random letter and remove it from a box. I want to see to whom it's addressed, of course. A name which I'm not going to try to pronounce. There has to be the name of the old man living here. Just to be sure, I'll check a few other letters as well. They all cite the same name. All that's left is to get a glimpse of his face. I consider waiting for him to leave the house, but I need to remain mindful of the time. As important as this is, I still have school. Perhaps I'm probably safest there too. Just as I decide to stick around for as long as I can, I notice 2 figures in the distance. 2 figures that I recognise even. One male and one female. Both are foreigners. And tall. It's them! There's still plenty of distance between us, so I can't make out their faces. Not that I need to. I can tell that it's them based on their silhouettes, not only of their participants, but also the most dangerous duo by far. Those two. Numerials 3 and 11. Federico and his partner. I instinctively duck for cover. They have to be targeting the girl. Either that, or they're looking into the relationship between her and the old man, just as I am. Assuming he turns out to be a participant, it's likely they've tracked him down to here. Numerial 11 is carrying a notepad. I assume she's gotten hold of his address somehow. In that case, they must be coming for him instead of the girl. After all, she wouldn't be listed as living here. Just as I am deciding whether to stick around or head to school, the front door gets propped ajar. Noticing this, the duo duck into a nearby alley. From what I can tell, Numero 11's the one who prompts them to do so. That surprised me. She seems like the kind of person to leap in when the opportunity presents itself, so I didn't expect her to tread carefully. Both the girl and the old man are likely aware of the situation they put themselves in, so it's only natural for them to scout out their surroundings before they leave the house. Deciding that the coast is clear, the door swings open. That's... Lights pour out of my bag all of a sudden. The moment that old man steps out of the house, in fact, that's when I become certain that he is that man. His appearance matches what I saw in the dream world. A tenacious looking old man. I got the impression he was a shut-in of sorts before, but his current attire of sweater and loose pants says the opposite. Numero 11 and Federico remain hidden for some reason. Regardless, I've confirmed that he's a bona fide participant. It's safe to say that I'm putting myself in danger if I stay any longer. As such, I slink back to the station, taking care not to bump into any of the others. And make it to the school, make it to the school, make it to... Oh. Looks like we were right on the money. I was whispered to Odette when the old timer leaves his house. Shush. Shush, you dumbass. She may have whispered, but she also slams her foot down on mine. Gotta admit, she's uncharacteristically cautious at times like this. You'd think someone massive like her would charge right in, but no. She even keeps a fair distance from the house to ensure we aren't seen. Granted, putting this much distance between us means she gets that her massive body don't lend itself to stealth. Enough about her. Let me recall how we ended up here in the first place. Me and Odette had a talk about who to target after the third election, where that crazy thin Japanese lady got eliminated. Odette's intuition played a big part in us targeting Ro, so we still haven't made use of the cards we were dealt at the beginning. Knowing there'd be a name or two among those initial cards, we decided to go along whoever was in my side. My words, honestly. Normally I'd be against showing off my cards, but Odette told me which cards she'd taken from Ro immediately afterwards, so, well, not like she chose to do so without planning to get something in return. Turns out I had that Russian kid's name card, Sophia something something. The kid has been through some rough stuff, but it ain't any of my concern. We took her parents hostage and Odette got her to spill her life story. Thing is, she implied that she had one of Odette's cards. Not only that, but Odette decided to give her some time to screw around. Time to let her get over her regret, really. Can't say why she did it, but there ain't no point in trying to get into that woman's head. I wouldn't have been able to learn much about Sophia with just her name, so I decided not to complain. Had things gone according to plan, Odette would have eliminated Sophia, but that Miharu brought one up to her. Make no mistake, Odette ain't the type to let something like that slow her down. We're the same in that regard. Plenty of things went away from me back in Italy, but I never took issue with it. In fact, those situations are when people expose their worst side. You gotta make the most of that. Just like I said in the Court of Fate, 2 of the 3 cards dealt to me at the beginning belongs to participants who have already been eliminated. Next up is numerial 5. Odette had his new card, so we used it to dig up dirt on him, and here we are. Hey, Space Cadet, get it together, we're heading back. The hell? You're saying we can't just jump? You're saying we can't jump the old geezer now and make him squeal? No. That or we could break into his house while he's gone. You sure enough oxygen's reaching that brain of yours up in space? Ain't no one crazy enough to do that at this time of the day. Not unless they want to be caught and reported to the police. Don't forget, this is a residential district. We can't go wild like with Sophia and Ro. We've got to come back early in the morning or late at night. Only got yourself to blame for that. She smashes her foot on mine again. Guess she isn't too pleased about the implication, but she's the only one that stands out. We didn't get anything worthwhile information here, did we? So you'd think, but it's easy to take a stab at how he died now that we've seen his house. How's this rundown shack gonna help? Oh, now I see where you're going. Ah, heh. You're on point for once. Keep going. Figured she spilled the beans if I acted up like a cordon, but that didn't go quite as planned. Now that I know not to even bother pretending, she smacks my shoulders before she continues.
他に身寄りがないじじいだ。日本じゃそういう連中が孤独死してしばらくしてから発見されるってのは問題になってるらしいじゃねえか。
This is a lonely old man we're talking about, in a country that's become known for cases for the elderly being discovered dead in their homes, no less.
日本は特に閉鎖的なコミュニティ。村社会だっつうから起こりやすいのかもしれねえな。
Knowing how insular Japan and its people can be, that's probably why it happens so often.
腐った死体やらの清掃なんかを専門にしてる業者すらあるらしい。まあ、それはいい。
Hell, apparently they even have specialists to deal with the dead and rotting bodies too.
てめえが話を聞いた主婦の言葉を思い出しな。
Anyway, just remember what the woman told you. That's as big of a hint as you can get.
まあベラベラと喋る太った主婦だったな。
That fatty did enjoy running her mouth? I think back to what she told me. Seems like there were rumors of him kicking the bucket since he rarely left the house.
確か。しかし、いくら孤立したじじいでも先進国で餓死はないんじゃないか。金の補助は国から受けてたんだろうし。
Starvation, huh? You think that's it? Insular as Japan may be, it's a developed country. Wouldn't he have gotten retirement or unemployment benefits or something?
そうでもないさ。あの主婦はじじいが腰を痛めてることも話してただろ。
Under normal circumstances, maybe. The woman did mention that he had a bad back, right? Yeah, that's right, she did. Don't know why she remembers more of this stuff than me when I was the one who talked to the woman.
ひどい腰痛ってのは自力で動けなくなることがある。私が船に乗ってた時にもそうなっちまった乗組員がいた。
Don't underestimate lower back pain. A shipmate of mine suffered from it once, and they couldn't bring themselves to move even an inch.
じじいが家で突然そのレベルの腰痛に襲われたとしよう。元から患ってたんなら突発ではねえけど。
So let's assume. Okay. So let's assume the geezer got hit by it out of nowhere, while ignoring the fact that it wouldn't be sudden if he'd been suffering from it before. But
孤立しているから助けを求められない。近所の連中もじじいが家から出てこないのは慣れっこだから気にしない。金だけもらって介護を受けてるわけじゃねえから短期間じゃ訪問もね
he didn't call for no one to help him. Everyone's used to him staying inside, so they wouldn't bat an eyelid. Not like he's getting direct care from the government, just disability benefits. So no one there's gonna come check on him.
人間は7日飯を食えなかったら、あるいは3日水が飲めなければ死ぬんだ。私はよく知ってる。
All it takes is a week without food or 3 days without water for someone to croak. Trust me. I can tell she's serious by the tone of her voice. Knowing what she's been involved in, I wouldn't be surprised if her crew had come close to starvation at some point. That, or she's seen it happen to one of her shipmates before.
重度の腰痛で動けなくなっちまい、助けも呼べず、そのままガチか。ありえない話じゃないと思うが、そんな早く。
So basically, he starved to death after suffering from some crazy back pain, and all because no one was there to help him? It's possible, but would it really happen that quick? What? A familiar light emanates from my book. The sign that a new card's been made. The same thing happens for Odette too. When she notices, she can't help but grin. It's honestly sickening just how good she is at this.
だけど、動けないほどの腰痛があっても、さっきジジイは外に出てた。
Even so, he seemed well enough when he left just now.
ソフィーなんじゃらの時もそうだったが、選定の間は体がある程度回復してるってことなのか。
Same with that Russian kid. Guess that any participants with obvious symptoms are cured of them during divine selection.
てめえの予想の通りだろうな。肉体の状態はどこかの時点まで戻されるって考えた方が良さそうだ。
You're probably on the right track there. Chances are everyone's physical conditions get reverted to a time when they were healthy. She nods in reaffirmation after repeating what I said. I half expected her to say she doesn't care, so it takes me by surprise. Her expression reverts to its usual state, and then she turns around. Alright, we've got enough information for today. Let's head back. We head back to the way we came, making sure not to be spotted by him. Unbeknownst to Rinka, Alan has been tailing her for the past few days. It brings him to the residential district where he, whose name he has yet to learn, lives. What's more, he has learned the whereabouts of both her school and Lion House. Seeing that she's making her way to school after obtaining the elderly man's name card, he chooses to stop tailing her for the time being. He closes his eyes and recalls her figure. Rinka. Eliminating her would prove a simple task, were he to actively focus on it. However, a number of reasons prevent him from doing so. The first is her relationship with numero 2, Miharu. She may have gone to lengths to make sure like they'd be able to falling out, but Alan witnessed them being friendly at Lionhouse. It confirmed to him that they are still cooperating. One cannot target Shishimai Rinka without dealing with Miharu. Alan had no idea which cards she was dealt at the beginning either, which is the main reason for his hesitation in getting involved with her. Her actions during the previous election show that she cannot be underestimated. She may have eliminated a girl far younger than herself, but she went head to head with numero 11 to obtain election rights. The biggest reason of all, however, is that Alan has found himself under suspicion from Japanese police. His recklessness while obtaining Keiko's information has landed him in a tight spot. He had made sure to scout out the positions of each camera in the hospital and cut off those he couldn't avoid, but something unexpected happened. He somehow ended up on the list of suspects responsible for the attack on the hospital. Under normal circumstances, he would use illegal means to ensure that he would not be arrested, but his current situation does not allow for that. Especially because he holds far less influence in Japan than back in India, where his company is based. He may have some leeway, but now is no time to flex those muscles. Valid as those reasons are, Alan is simply using them as a means to distract himself from the reality of the matter. There is a far simpler reason behind this choice to not pursue Rinka, one that he hasn't noticed earlier. The look in her eyes, it reminded him of himself. Not only does she lack his assumed fortune, but she is also nowhere near as physically imposing, and yet somehow her eyes burned with a determination matching his own. More importantly, Alan had the chance to learn the old man's name the same way that Rinka did, but he opts not to. To be more accurate, he can't. This is thanks to his spotting a particular duo keeping their line on the old man's home. Numero 3 and 11. Alan arrived after Rinka's departure, so they likely had no idea she was also there.
11番の女は確か5番氏名を取得していたな。
Numero 11 is in possession of Numero 5's name card, if I recall. That was more than enough to understand why she was here. With sufficient connections at one's disposal, learning where someone lives based on their name alone is a simple feat. What surprises Alan is the fact that someone like her would cooperate with Numero 3. The sheer stupidity he displayed in the Court of Fate had Alan convinced that he could be left for later, but that was no longer the case if he's with Numero 11. It may not seem like it, but Alan has respect for those who have eliminated other participants. Only 2 people have earned this respect thus far. One is Miharu and the other is Numero 11. Alan can also tell that the latter is no ordinary person. One glance was all he needed to understand her background and the deeds in which she has been involved. Based on what he's seen, she seems to have the upper hand with Numero 3.
男の方は手足か、あるいは鉄砲玉といったところか。
He must be her foot soldier of sorts.
まあいい。今すべきは。
Regardless, I know now what must be done. His target switches from the old man to those 2. Keeping an eye on them will likely lead to him getting his hands on Numero 5's information without much effort. Not only that, but discovering where they're based now, while unaware of his plans, will give him the advantage down the line. That may be enough to make up for the disadvantage his celebrity status gives him. He begins to tell the two, taking extra care not to be noticed. I'm pretty sure number 11 will catch on. Soon after, Alan returns to the residential district. His attempt to tell them hasn't ended as well as he hoped. Not for being noticed though. Alan trusts himself to not slip up when it comes to that. However, those two must have unconsciously taken a path to shake any potential pursuers. It eventually led to him losing sight of them.
やはりあの女が優先か。
My priority should lie with numero 11. He mutters to himself as to not stand out. He then makes his way back to his own base of operations, but time has come for him to finally take action. Really? So what Alan is trying to do is take out the tougher opponents of the competition. After a long day, I finally have some time to relax in my room. Nothing noteworthy has happened beyond this morning's events, although I guess the fact that my class has finally gotten around to preparing for the culture festival counts as noteworthy. Sounds like they've moved forward with a fortune teller idea. The one in charge would essentially prepare a bunch of fortune telling methods and use them on whoever stops by. They've gone with this plan because one in charge wants to test out these so-called methods. Fortune telling, reading one's fate. Funny how they've ended up with that after the things I've experienced. At least I'm not involved in the plans or being asked for my opinion. They're just gonna ask me and Miharu to help the day off. Mao, on the other hand, seems fascinated by the whole thing. She'll be helping to prep it as well as longer than we will during the festival.
真面目な顔して思わせぶりなこと言っておけばいいんだよね。うち得意な気がする。
All I gotta do is act serious and mutter some cryptic stuff. That's right up my alley. Just when you expect to hear from her, I wonder if they'll manage to finish everything on time, since the culture festival is in 2 weeks. I bet we're the only class this far behind schedule. Phew. I already feel exhausted. It's barely 10 PM. Well, it makes sense considering I left the house so early this morning. Him. I'll repeat this elderly man's name in my head to make sure I don't forget it. Now I have to find out his cause of death and regret, but I'm not quite sure on how to go about it. I'm so curious about the girl staying with him too. While I don't have her cause of death, all I know is that a fire is involved. Nothing else. That's probably the biggest issue with the cards dealt to us at the beginning. First things first.
ここからどうすればいいか。
I gotta plan what to do moving forward. As if things aren't difficult enough, I got Federico and numero 11 to worry about as well. Things may have gone well enough yesterday and today, but that doesn't mean I'm a pro when it comes to detaining people and such. It's entirely possible that I'll mess up at some point and get myself stuck in a tight spot. Regardless, I can't sit back and let those two get the upper hand. One option is to throw caution to the wind and approach him directly, but that's too risky. Numero 11 would likely end up adding me to her list of targets alongside him and that girl if I did it. I try searching him on the internet, but I don't get any relevant results. Getting info on him without putting myself out there seems tricky. I can't just waltz over to City Hall and ask for his family register when I'm completely unrelated to him either. That's why I'm going to approach things from a different angle. I do have an advantage over that duo. A majority of the participants, myself included, are from Japan. Plus, most are located under Shinjuku, an area rich with schoolgirls just like me. It keeps me from standing out in most situations, which is advantageous. The only issue is that the sole approach I can think of involves questioning the locals near his residence. Actually, that might not be too bad of an idea. I did shuffle over there pretty early this morning, so there weren't many people around. It's probably why those two showed up when they did. They aimed for a time when few people would be around.
私なら人が多い時間でも。
But as for me, I don't need to worry about standing out. It's hardly normal to ask questions about some random old man. But hey, I'll still seem less suspicious than either of those two doing the same. If I really need to, I can even pretend to be the granddaughter of an ex-wife or something. I just need to act like Naomi did at the hospital where Keiko was. I'll try going in the evening. Everyone's running around shopping around then. Not only does it give me more people to question, but I can also blend into the crowd if need to be. With that sorted, I should sleep as much as possible, so I'll be ready to take action. But just as I'm about to turn off the lights, I hear a distinct meow coming from down my foot. It's none other than Luffy, our friendly little freeloading cat. What? Oh, what is it, Leafy? I always make sure to feed it and have water out, so I don't know it's hungry. It doesn't respond to my question, of course. It'd be pretty freaky if it did. So, but I'm gonna go to sleep. I want to give it some attention, but I'm a bit too tired tonight. Nah. I flick the light off and clamber into bed. Leafy follows suit, which is rare. It prefers to sleep atop the covers, not under them. This little rascal has the habit of using my stomach as its pillow, too. I stroke its head for a moment before shutting my eyes and focusing on sleep. It's amazing how warm something with such a tiny body can be. Indeed they can. Okay. There's a term for when one realizes they're dreaming. Lucid dreaming? Ever since Divine Selection began, I've experienced it at least once per week. Granted, I'm not quite sure that you could call what's going on in the Court of Fate a dream. Whatever. I find myself once again in a strange place, despite knowing for a fact that I went to sleep not long ago.
Yeah.
You again. You strangely looks like Miharu for some reason, as I look at you now actually. Hey there.
お久しぶり。でもないのかな。私は人間の時間の感覚がよくわからなくてね。
I'd say been a while, but I'm not sure if it actually has been or not. Don't comprehend your human's perception of time too well. I've seen this man once before. It's only now that I remember having met him in my dreams before.
私のことは覚えているかい？いや、今思い出したのだろうね。
I take it you remember me, or remembered me just now.
君が君の大事な記憶を忘れてしまっているように、この夢の中での出来事も忘れてしまうという必然性があるからね。
Like how you've lost some of your precious memories, it's a foregone conclusion that you will forget everything that occurs in this dream. I want to say something, but I find myself unable to speak. He dominates the conversation.
君はコーヒーのお店をやっているそうだけれど、私は紅茶の方に興味があってね。
Each to their own. It may be a bit rude of me to say this when you run a coffee shop, but I'm actually a lot more interested in tea.
一度アフタヌーンティーというものを楽しみたいと思っているのだけれど。
I suppose even mystics can enjoy tea and other things that humans consume. In fact, I've been aching for some good afternoon tea for a
も
while.
っともこの夢の世界では一緒に語り合う相手がいないどころか、ティーセットというものが存在しないこと自体が残念だよ。
Alas, not only do I have no one to talk to here, there aren't any tea sets to use either. Such a shame. This man knows who I am. I'm not sure how important that realization is when I'm likely to forget everything he says though. Quite indeed.
さて、そろそろ雑談もいいだろう。今夜はもう一つ、君の抜け落ちていた記憶が舞い戻ってきたのだからね。
Well, enough pleasantries for now. There's no time to waste on those when one of your lost memories has made its way back to you.
お祝いの言葉を告げるために、わざわざ出向かせていただいたよ。
It's precisely for that reason that I made the effort to bring you here and offer my congratulations.
どんな記憶かって？おっと、君が夢の中で記憶を取り戻す前に出てきてしまったね。
Ah, which memory, you ask? Ah, it seems I appeared before you actually recovered the memory by mistake.
やはり人間の時間の概念は難しい。一方的に流れるだけではあるのだけれど、感覚がつかみにくいよ。
Understanding your concept of time is truly a difficult task. Its flow may be linear, but the rate at which it moves always throws me off.
では、朝を迎える前に少しだけ君の記憶を思い出すといい。
Anyway, do take this opportunity to recall some prior events before morning comes. are we here again? I'm standing alone in the court of fate. I'm on the same platform as usual, but for some reason none of the other participants are here.
ごきげんよう。運命の奴隷となってしまった哀れな子羊様。
Good evening, you poor little lost lamb. I'm afraid to inform you that you have become a slave to fate. A girl dressed in all in white addresses me. It's Parser. She stands in front of me despite the fact that there's no solid surface beneath her feet. I watched from a distance as both of us face one another. I concluded that this was one of my memories, since I've been able to watch myself as though I'm a third party.
命を落としてしまったあなた様の精神は今、運命をさまよってらっしゃいますわ。
Your spirit has found itself roaming the corridors of fate after your passing.
ですが、あなた様は改変された運命の中で女神の選定の参加者になっていただきます。
Fear not. Fate has changed its course and thus you will become a participant in divine selection. She begins to tell me about divine selection. She explains all the rules. I watch myself try to get a word in every now and then, but she ignores each attempt. Everything she's explaining here is the exact same as what she told us during the first election. Memories of an explanation I've heard before. This must have taken place right after I died then. Considering the in-depth explanation she's giving, it's no wonder she was unimpressed with me when I asked her about it again. Well, remember this explanation of rules I already know is more pointless than one would expect too.
ただし、忘れてはいけないことが一つございます。
However, do keep in mind one thing.
あなた様方12人は皆、12週間後の同じ時、同じ場所にいた可能性を持っていました。
Fate initially foretold that all 12 participants would gather in the same place, at the same time, 12 weeks from now on.
一度は失われてしまった未来で到達していたはずの場所。その場所こそ、あなた様方の運命の終着点となりますわ。
It is a place that bears significance to all involved, even if that future has now been lost. It is what will be referred to as the final destination for your individual fates.
選定で最後の一人となられましたら、必ずその時までにその場所へ向かってくださいませ。
Should you find yourself as the last remaining participant, please make your way to this place.
運命の終着点にたどり着いて、初めてあなたが死の運命を回避し、生き残ることができたという運命が定着いたしますわ。
Reaching the final destination will serve as proof that you are alive and will thus override your death for good.
もし運命の終着点にたどり着かなければ、それはその時のお楽しみということにいたしましょう。
As for what will happen should you fail to reach it, well, I would hate to spoil the surprise should that come to pass. She didn't mention a specific time or place. Instead, she placed her finger on my brow, she closed her eyes, and then her finger began to glow. She didn't need words for this part. With that touch, Parser etched the final destination into our minds. Eek. My eyes jolt open after a night of sleep. Well, we're going to find out the next bit of this game in the next time. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and we're going to see each other's in the next time of Fatal 12. The numbers are dwindling. There was 12, now there are 9. As we're on week 4 actually. So have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves. Or is it week 5? Hold on. So you've been eliminated. You've been eliminated. You've been eliminated. And the one unknown to us was eliminated. Okay, so we're on week 5, okay. So have a good day and take care of yourselves.